You want to know the truth. Like, the real, honest, no BS truth. Sex isn't just about sex. It's not just about bodies. It's not just about what you do with your hands or your mouth. It's not about how long it lasts or how wild it gets. It's not about performance. It's not even about orgasms. It's about connection. It's about trust. It's about safety. It's about showing up in the rawest, most honest, most vulnerable way, and being met there. Not judged. Not rushed. Not controlled. Met. That's the part nobody teaches us. Nobody talks about this. We're told that great sex is spontaneous, hot, intense, mind-blowing, and yeah, it can be. But that kind of connection, that kind of soul-to-skin intimacy, it doesn't come from a technique. It comes from presence, from being fully there. So let's talk about her. Let's talk about the woman you love, or want to love, or think about at night. The one who's holding more than just her body in your hands. She's holding her story, her shame, her desires, her fears, her power. And if you want to really, truly unlock her, if you want to experience a kind of intimacy most people never get to have, you've got to slow down. You've got to stop thinking about what you're supposed to do, and start tuning into who she is. Because what she's craving, more than anything else, is to be seen. Not just looked at, seen, felt, respected, wanted, yes, but more than that, understood. Now, don't mistake me. I'm not saying chemistry doesn't matter, of course it does. But chemistry without emotional safety, that's a fire that burns fast and dies quicker. You want to blow her mind. Listen to her, not just her words. Listen to her breath, her body, her silence, her hesitation. That's where the gold is. That's where the real intimacy lives. You want her to open up to you, emotionally, physically, spiritually. Then you've got to show her that she's safe to be fully herself. That you can hold all of her, not just the parts that are convenient or sexy or easy, but the complicated parts, the unsure parts, the parts even she struggles to love. Because that's what changes everything. That's what unlocks her wild. That's what lets her soften. That's what lets her trust you with her whole self, her body, her mind, her heart. And when that happens, when a woman trusts you that deeply, it's not sex anymore. It's something else entirely. It's magic. It's healing. It's two souls meeting through skin and breath and presence and energy. So don't ask, how do I please her? Ask, how do I make her feel safe? Don't ask, how do I turn her on? Ask, how do I help her feel free? Because when a woman feels free in her body, when she feels safe in your hands, when she feels chosen, not for what she does, but for who she is, she will show you how to please her. She will guide you, without saying a word, straight to the center of her. But you have to be quiet enough to listen, still enough to notice, present enough to care. That's the work. That's the real secret. It's not a trick. It's not a move. It's you, your energy, your presence, your respect, your ability to hold her without trying to fix her, rush her, or impress her. She doesn't want perfect. She wants real. She wants to feel like when she's with you, she doesn't have to perform. She can just be. And when a woman feels that, you will see a version of her that no one else ever gets to see. And that is the most intimate thing in the world. Let's get one thing straight. You can't have real intimacy without emotional safety. You can't expect someone to open their body to you if they don't feel safe with you first. Emotional safety isn't a buzzword. It's not fluff. It is the foundation of trust, of intimacy, of connection that's actually worth something. And if you don't create it, if you don't prioritize it, what you're doing isn't intimacy. It's performance. This is what most people don't understand. They think intimacy is built through effort in the bedroom, through skill, through passion, through doing all the right things. But none of that matters if the person you're with is guarded. If they're second-guessing themselves. If they're wondering whether they'll be judged. If they're feeling insecure in their own skin. If they feel like they have to be someone for you instead of just being themselves. That's not intimacy. That's pressure. Emotional safety is about creating an environment where someone feels like they can bring their whole self into the room. It means they don't feel like they have to hide parts of who they are just to keep your attention. It means they feel heard when they speak, respected when they set boundaries, and valued beyond just what they can give you physically. And when that happens, when someone feels emotionally safe, everything changes. Walls come down. Vulnerability comes forward. True intimacy begins. Now, emotional safety isn't just about being nice. It's not passive. It's not soft. It's active. It's intentional. It's built moment by moment, in small interactions that add up over time. The way you look at them when they're speaking. The way you listen without interrupting. The way you respond to their honesty, especially when it's hard to hear. It's in how you react when they say no. When they say slow down. When they say, I'm not ready. Emotional safety is how you handle the pauses, not just the passion. Because here's what people don't realize. The body follows the mind. When someone feels emotionally unsafe, when they feel like their feelings don't matter or their boundaries are disposable, their body shuts down. Desire disappears. Connection breaks. They stop showing up with their full energy, and instead, they retreat behind a mask. They check out. They do what they think they're supposed to do, but they're not really there. And you feel that. You might not be able to name it, but you know it when it happens. Something's off. Something's missing. That spark, that presence, that openness, it's just not there. Because the emotional safety isn't there. And this goes both ways. Emotional safety is not just for her, or for one partner, it's for both people. It creates a container where intimacy can expand and evolve. Where trust deepens over time. Where vulnerability becomes strength. Where both people can bring more of themselves into the connection, not less. There's this lie we've all been sold, that great intimacy comes from being impressive. From knowing the right moves, from lasting the right amount of time, from making everything look like a scene from a movie. We've been taught that performance is what makes someone desirable, what makes a moment memorable. But that's not how real connection works. That's not what makes someone feel wanted, cherished, or deeply turned on. What does that is presence. Presence is rare. It's uncomfortable. It asks you to stop focusing on the checklist in your head and start focusing on the actual human being in front of you. And that's hard for a lot of people because it means dropping the act. It means being seen in your own imperfection. It means putting down the script and tuning into the moment without trying to control it. But presence, that full, undistracted, emotionally available energy, is what allows for intimacy to actually unfold. It's not about what you're doing, it's about how you're being. Are you really there, or are you in your head? Are you trying to get to the next step, or are you paying attention to what's happening right now? Because, if you're thinking about how you look, what she's thinking, or how it's going, you're not present, you're performing. And performance creates pressure. Presence creates connection. Presence means you notice the little things. You hear the shift in her breath. You feel the way her body responds, not in some technical sense, but in a human sense. You're not just touching skin, you're tuned into energy. And when someone feels that, when they know you're with them, not trying to impress them, they start to relax. They stop second-guessing themselves. They stop performing too. That's when people start to show you who they really are. And here's what's wild. When you're fully present with someone, you don't need to do much. You don't need 10 new techniques or tricks. Because the way you pay attention becomes the thing. That attention, that presence, that grounded, I'm right here with you, energy, it's intoxicating. It tells the other person that they matter. That they're not just a role in your fantasy, but a living, breathing human being who's worth noticing, moment to moment. And that creates a different level of intimacy. One where both people feel seen. One where both people get to let go. This is what makes presence so powerful. It invites trust. It communicates care without saying a word. It allows for silence without awkwardness. It turns every small moment into something meaningful because you're actually there for it. And the more present you are, the more your partner feels safe to be present too. That's when intimacy deepens. That's when real pleasure begins to build, not just physical, but emotional, psychological, even spiritual. Because presence brings you out of your head and into your body, out of control and into connection. We live in a world addicted to speed. Everything is fast. Our scrolling, our texting, our talking, our expectations. We rush from one thing to the next like there's some invisible clock we're all racing against. And that same speed, that same anxious momentum, it bleeds into our relationships. It bleeds into the bedroom. And it completely destroys connection. When it comes to intimacy, one of the biggest mistakes people make is going too fast. Not just physically, but emotionally and energetically. It's like there's this script we think we're supposed to follow, a sequence we've internalized from movies, media, and bad advice. First this happens, then that happens, then we're supposed to get to the main event, and then it's over. Done. Move on. But that's not how real connection works. That's not how real intimacy feels. That's not how bodies, especially women's bodies, open up and respond. Slowing down isn't just a nice idea. It's essential. Because real intimacy requires space. It requires build-up. It requires breath, and silence, and stillness, and the courage to pause. When you move too quickly, you bypass all the subtle cues. You miss the way her body softens when you actually take your time. You miss the deep breaths she takes when you stop trying to rush to the next thing. You miss the opportunity to create real anticipation, and instead, you collapse everything into one big blur. People often confuse intensity with connection. But they're not the same. You can have a fast, hot, intense experience and still walk away feeling empty. That's because intensity can be physical without being emotional. But when you slow down, you give yourself the chance to tap into something more real. You feel more. You notice more. You listen, not just with your ears, but with your hands, your eyes, your presence. Slowing down also means letting go of control. And that terrifies a lot of people. Because if you're not moving fast, if you're not filling the space with sound or action, then you're exposed. You're vulnerable. You're left to actually feel things, and that's where the real work is. That's where trust gets built. That's where nervous systems regulate. That's where connection deepens. Most people have no idea what happens when they truly slow down. They've never experienced it, because it's uncomfortable at first. There's silence. There's uncertainty. There's no immediate payoff. But that discomfort is where intimacy begins. It's in the in-between. In the half-second pauses. In the moments where nothing is happening, but everything is happening. That's where you stop performing and start experiencing. When you slow down, you create a completely different atmosphere. The entire tone shifts. It's not just about touch. It's about how that touch lands. It's not about doing more. It's about making what you do actually matter. You're not rushing through a checklist. You're building a connection, one breath, one glance, 1 second at a time.